Interesting conversation it's been from the start of the program this morning up until this point. This is a newspaper review segment of the program, and of course, as is customary, I have a copy of the Daily Trust with me. Lead story there says federal government puts 18 states FCT on flood alert, says cholera escalation likely. States roll out enlightenment campaigns. Daily Trust is leading with just one story, save for the advertorial at the front page. And now we go to the Punch newspaper. Top of the page says federal government plans 2 trillion naira economic revival scheme, inaugurates council. Another story says Nigeria to host $5 billion African Energy Bank. Also, NNPC disagrees as report puts petrol debt at $6 billion. Lead story says 10 states battling flooding, 21 others at risk. Federal government warns. Government fears cholera may worsen as Lagos, Abuja, others count losses. Flooding kills pupil, rivers to overflow July. Ondo, Kaduna, 17 others to be affected. Flood sacks 10 Ogun communities. And also, NPA launches tugboats to boost port operations. Other stories there says SEC mandates Nigeria CEO local office for crypto firms. Beside that, we see driver bags 12 years in jail for killing LASMA officer. And Edo APC jubilates, PDP urges calm as court nullifies Ighodalo's candidacy. And we go to the Vanguard newspaper. Top of the page, Belt reads federal government's debt to petrol importers exceeds 9.1 trillion naira. Edo Guba, PDP court wrestle over Ighodalo's candidacy. Appeal court voids sack of Rivers Assembly Speaker Amewule and 24 others. Page 8 has that story. And the lead story on the Vanguard says 21 local government areas, 10 states, FCT submerged in floods. According to the federal government, it says no release of water from dams, Cameroon's Lagdo Dam. One state local government to safeguard lives of Nigerians. Also, Lagos, 2,000 retirees receive 4.5 billion naira benefits. JAMB uncovers 3,000 fake graduates. And in kidnapping, federal government working seriously to secure ungoverned spaces. This is according to the National Security Advisor. That story is on page 9. And then we go to the Nigerian Tribune. The Tribune says expect more flooding. Federal government warns states, local governments. Lists flood-prone states. Says downpour may worsen cholera. And this story is on page 12. Tinubu plans 2 trillion naira injection into economy, inaugurates Presidential Economic Coordination Council. Nigeria's economy will rebound in months if, this is according to Dangote. And lead story on the Nigerian Tribune. Court verdict on settle Edo PDP, Rivers politics. Judgment invalidates PDP primary that produced Ighodalo. Asue Ogie ticket intact, says PDP. Appeal court voids order stopping pro-Wike lawmakers from parading selves as Rivers Assembly members. Pro-Wike Rivers Assembly members remain sacked, opposition federal lawmakers. And on the Kano Emirship tussle, Bayero's council withdraw legal services. Read more on that story on page 4. Ekiti State rated highest in 2023 IGR collection, the report has revealed. NNPC NIPCO commissioned 12 CNG plants, CNG stations in FCT and Lagos. This story is on page 10 as Nigerians continue to await in the rollout of the presidential CNG initiative. They continue to ask, where are the CNG vehicles? And in Oyo, local government bans vigils, other late-night religious activities over kidnapping, criminalities. And also, Senate probes $5.7 billion Mambila Power project, Mambila Power contract. That story is on page 22. 2,000 Lagos retirees receive 4.5 billion naira benefits as Sanwo-Olu clears outstanding pension liability. And Nigeria to host African Energy Bank. The bank is said to be worth 5 billion in construction. And away from the Tribune, we go to The Guardian. The Guardian leads with this story: parties kick as court deliver upset in Edo Rivers power games. The story is on page 6, and you can see the major players there in the two states, Rivers with the governor Siminalayi there, and the ousted speaker of the Rivers House of Assembly, Martin Amewule, and just beside him there we see the current minister of the Federal Capital Territory and former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike. And beside the governor of Rivers State, we see the governor, the outgoing governor, of course, of Edo State, and the candidate of the PDP, Ighodalo, beside him as well. Two other stories: JAMB clamped down on fake diploma certificates for university admission. It says the number is at 3,000. Read more on the details on the news page 6. NNPCL denies $6 billion debt as fuel queues resurface. EFCC, NFIU, others decry money laundering, terrorism financing. Tinubu enlists Dangote Elumelu Rewane in economic team. And EKEDC disconnects Luth CMUL from electricity over 252 million naira debt. Exit poll: Labour wins landslide in UK general election. Some developments there from the United Kingdom. And also, NAS seeks Tinubu's endorsement of 300% pay rise for judiciary. That story is on page 5. And also, abductors of ex-Bayelsa commissioner get 40 years jail term each. Find that story on page 8, the Metro page of The Guardian. And that's it for The Guardian. We now go to the Leadership on Friday. Lead story says court wield big stick in Kano Rivers Edo crisis. Give 2 Kano judges 48 hours to resign over Ganduje's probe. Void Edo PDP governorship primaries. Top of the page has other stories. Lagos retirees beam with smiles. And also $150 billion loan. Reactions trail signing of Samoa agreement. And that's it for the Leadership on Friday. We now go to the Daily Independent newspaper. The Daily Independent, top of the page says Rivers crisis. Appeal court dismisses restraining order against pro-Wike lawmaker. Pro-Wike lawmakers remain sacked. That's according to opposition representatives. Says court didn't void declaration of seats vacant. And on the Edo governorship election, Ighodalo Ogie ticket intact despite court ruling, says the PDP. The lead story on the Daily Independent says Tinubu moves to inject 2 trillion naira to reflate Nigeria's economy. Health, social welfare, agric, energy, power sectors to benefit. President inaugurates Presidential Economic Coordination Council. Dangote says economy can be turned around within a few months. Other stories there says Labour set for landslide win in UK election, according to exit poll. Many fear death as 2-story building collapses in Anambra State. Unfortunate situation there. Senate to probe 5.79 billion naira Mambila hydroelectric power project. And Sanwo-Olu clears pension backlog for pays 2,000 pensioners 4.5 billion naira. Court orders 2 judges to resign from panels raised to probe Ganduje. And Nigeria's CNG journey has commenced. Move irreversible, says Kyari. 18 states FCT to be affected by river flooding in July. Federal government warns. Cautions flooding may worsen ravaging cholera outbreak. And also protest against EFCC. NOA mobilizes 4,000 staff members to track promoters of violence. And these are some of the stories on the front page of the Daily Independent. And we now go to the Business Day newspaper. Lead story there says Naira opens window for firms' asset revaluation. other story says Toleram appoints Adesua Ladoja as MD CEO of Lagos Free Trade Zone. And also, NNPC's $6 billion payment backlog fuels petrol queues. Strings attached to $150 billion Samoa deal stir outcry in Nigeria. And high feed costs hurt Nigeria's 120 billion naira fish industries. And these are some of the stories on the front page of the Business Day. And of course, do grab a copy of any of the national dailies that we've read out if you're interested in any of the details to get more, of course, and more news on the developments on the front pages of the headline this morning. And that wraps up Daybreak this morning. And it's been a lovely conversation moving from 8 a.m. until this time. If you've missed any part of the conversation, do well to follow us across all of our social platforms to get updates, and of course join our live stream on YouTube for more news, programs and documentaries. My name is Sagir Ibrahim. Thank God it's Friday, and have a lovely weekend. Up next is sports news, sports developments rather, with Emmanuel Fashimi. Chance again.